Hello, Phil here. Are you one of those people that frequently has maybe a bad day while you're dieting, or maybe just one single bad meal? You have something that you think you shouldn't have. You feel guilty because you think you've ruined the diet, and then most people's reaction to ruining their diet is, okay, I'll stop, and then they don't stop and start again the next day. They normally start again on Monday. If you're someone that frequently does that, you're obviously going to slow down your progress. You're not going to build momentum, and you're going to go through these kind of waves of being like stressed and frustrated, and then happy. I'm going to explain now very quickly why it's a bad idea to keep stopping just because you had a small meal that wasn't on the plan, and hopefully this will prove useful to you so you can just carry on. So if we come to my trusted pad. Right, very briefly, I've done quite a lot of training on this, but let's say we've got Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Let's say you have 1,500 calories per day. Now, for those who haven't watched any of my stuff, fat loss occurs when you use more calories than you consume, so you burn more from exercise and you undereat a little bit. Let's say that over those 3 days, we have gone under by 500, so that gives us a total deficit of 1,500 calories. Basically, at this point in time, we're going to lose weight. Everything seems good, right? Thursday comes along. I don't know what happens. You have an extra beer by accident, you get caught up, and I don't know, you get a bit hungry, and things happen. People sometimes just struggle. Sometimes people just have a fucking bad day. Now, let's imagine that you have 2,500. You've gone over by a whole 1,000 calories. You've now reduced that calorie deficit to 500, but you're still under. At this point, the problem with most people is they'll, like I said in the intro, feel guilty. Well, I don't think it's even feeling guilty. They just feel like because they've ruined it, there's just no point carrying on. So this becomes no dieting whatsoever. And normally, let's be honest, how many people and how many of you watching this have thought to yourself, well, if I'm going to start again on Monday, why don't I just enjoy these days here? So instead of them being like a little bit bad, people just go mental and binge. So that actually could lead to weight gain. Now, this is why it's stupid. And I don't blame people for doing this, because I think if people don't understand the fundamentals of weight loss, and they can't see in their own mind why one bit of food or maybe the odd day doesn't ruin it, then obviously I can understand why they think, why bother? Okay, so let's say you're sensible and you go straight back on track. You wake up the next day and go, well, that was stupid, let's go back to normal. Yeah, you get 1,500. Now, those 3 days again, obviously, have created 1,500 calorie deficit. Now, you've got 500 in there. So by the end of the week, we have 2,000. Now, it's not going to be a great week. The maths is a little bit hard. I think the body's a bit more complicated than just using the maths, but you'll often see claim that you need about a deficit of about 3,500 to lose a pound. So you would lose less than a pound. So it wouldn't be good, but it'd be better than not losing any or gaining. The other option is you kind of compensate. So you take the calories down a tiny bit. So instead of having 1,500, you might go to 1,250. 1,250. So now what we've got here is a deficit of 2,250, which means now added up with this, we have this 2,750. Now we're actually quite close to the 3,500. Point being is that regardless of whether you adjust your calories here to compensate for here, which I don't mind people doing when they're sensible. I don't like the idea that people start to make it like a binge. They kind of use it as a way of kind of having an unhealthy relationship with dieting. So they'll binge one day and then essentially starve themselves on another. I don't think that's a healthy mindset. But calorie manipulation like this is actually something a lot of bodybuilders, and I do with a lot of clients. or if you just go back to normal. The main point here is you have two choices. One, start again and make zero progress. Get you zero progress, no progress whatsoever, just because you thought you had a bad day and you thought it ruined it. Now, if you do that 3 weeks out of 12, 4 weeks out of 10, if you start doing it frequently, this, I think a lot of this is a relationship with food, and it's from a lack of understanding of the basics of weight loss. So hopefully this has now cleared that up. Number two, get over it. In other words, fucking chill out. Like, just wake up the next day, accept that you didn't have the best day, and do what I say. Either go back to what you were dieting on before, or slightly reduce the calories to make up for the kind of over the day before that, and see results. Which one, in all honesty, is the better option there? Seriously. Hopefully you're saying number two, Phil. I should always just carry on. Cool. Hopefully that's cleared that up. Main point of that is, if you have a bad day, don't feel bad about it. Shit happens. Get back on the fucking diet the next day and salvage the week, and then go into the next week and have a good week. 5 really good weeks and 3 or 4 slow weeks beat having 5 weeks and then 3 or 4 non-existent weeks, or weeks where you actually gain weight, because that's where people kind of end up just going back and forwards. I hope that's helped clear up in your mind that the reason why some bad food, I mean, if you did that 3 or 4 days of the week, then yeah, sure, you could screw up a whole week. And that's why I don't like people doing that whole diet Monday to Friday, kind of eat what they want on the Saturday and the Sunday, because it can counteract the deficit. But for those small mistakes, or when you just want to allocate some extra calories for maybe an extra beer, glass of wine, date night, a business meeting or something, that's the same principle I have with my clients when they're traveling or they're meeting clients, and we just manipulate the calories a little bit through the week to just distribute them differently. Hopefully that helps. Any questions, pop them in the comments. For those who haven't watched my free webinar, I'll also leave the link in there too. I cover 4 things that every successful person does when they lose weight and get healthy. These 4 things will be life-changing if you don't know them. See you later.